Hello, East Brunswick. My name is Mr. Tippin, and it is great to be back with you. Let's jump right in. Today we're going to be thinking about addition number stories. And to get started, make sure that you have a pencil and paper. Be ready to pause the video if you need to. Be ready to do a little bit of practice at the end. And see if you can find somebody that you can talk about your ideas with. All right. Today we're going to be thinking about addition number stories, and we're going to have two ways to organize our thinking. One is a part-part total diagram, and another is a start, change, end diagram. Now, we're going to start off by thinking about a particular kind of story. And I love number stories because I like to think about them like actual stories. Today we're going to be talking about a water park. And if you're not sure what a water park is, I want to show you just a very brief video of what a water park is. A water park is a place where you can go and play outside, and they have these things called giant slides, where you can go in and go all the way down the slide with water. Here's another example of that. And they can be a lot of fun. In today's story, we're thinking about a water park. So last year, Tippin Towers had 26 water slides. Over the winter, the park added 9 new slides. How many slides do they have in all? Now, this is the first thing that I like to do when I come to a number story. I like to read it like it is a story. No pencil, just read the story. After I've read it through one time, I'm going to go through one comma or sentence at a time. Let's look at our first sentence. Last year, Tippin Towers had 26 water slides. Is there any important math information in that sentence that might help me to solve the problem? In this case, I think yes. 26 water slides. I'm going to take the 26 water slides and make that the first part, or the start, depending on the diagram I choose to use. Now, I want to take a moment and say you don't need to use both of these. You can choose the one that fits best to the way that you're thinking about this problem. I'm going to show both of them at the same time, so that way you can make the choice for which one is best for you. Now I'm going to read the second sentence. Over the winter, the park added 9 new slides. Well, that's another part. So I'm going to add that part into the part-part total. Or I know that 26, well, we've changed that. We've added 9 more. Now I've collected all the information I can from this question, except for the question itself. How many slides do they have in all? And I can see in my diagram, this question, how many slides? Well, that would be the total, or the end, depending on the diagram you're using. Now I can just simply do the two parts, 26 plus 9, or 26 plus 9 in the start change model, and find my solution of 35. Let's try another one. Before I start, I want to just read the question like it's a story. I want to try to imagine that I'm there using my ILA skills. I want to try to visualize. I want to make connections to experiences I've had before. Maybe I've been to a water park, or I've read about it, or maybe I've been down a slide. All those things are great ways to help me get inside the meaning of this story. So the tallest water slide at Tippin Towers Water Park is 64 feet tall. He is planning on building a new slide that is 28 feet taller. How tall will the new slide be? Okay, now I'm going to go back to this question, read it again, but this time I'm going to stop at every period to see if there is any important mathematical information. So the tallest slide at Tippin Towers Water Park is 64 feet tall. Well, that is our start, or the first part. He's planning on building a new slide that is 28 feet taller. Well, that's a change. That's a change of 28 feet. How tall will the new slide be? So now we know that that is the question. We don't know the total yet, or the end. And I just want to show you briefly a couple ways that you could solve this question. First, you might use a hundreds chart. Here I'm going to start at 64, and I know that I'm going to be changing or adding 28. Well, 28, I know that's the same thing as 2 10s and 8 1s. So I'm going to count up by 10, and then another 10 to get to 84. And then I can start counting by 1 to count up the other 8. So I'm at 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. Another way to do this is to think about it in terms of base 10 blocks. So here I have 64 across the top and 28 across the bottom. And I'm going to start by counting just the tens, or the longs. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I have 8 longs, or 8 tens, which makes 80. Now we can count the ones. So I'm going to start at 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. The same solution we had a moment ago. If we wanted to look at this using numbers, well, there's a way we can do that too. So we'll start at 64 plus 28. I like to stack mine up like this. It helps me to think more about the value of each of the digits. Now, 64 plus 28, I know that I can write that in another way. 64 is the same thing as 60, 6 tens, plus 4 ones. 28 is the same thing as 20 plus 8. And so now I can add the tens. 60 plus 20 is 80. Add the ones. 4 plus 8 is 12. And now I'm a little bit closer. Maybe this is something that you would be able to add on your own. If you know that 80 plus 10 is 90 plus another 2, then this would be as far as you would need to go. But if you wanted to, you could take the next step and do this again. 80 plus 0, that's another way to write 80. 10 plus 2, that's another way to write 12. And then we can add the tens again, and the ones, and then we have 92. Okay, today we thought about 2 ways that we can organize our thinking while we come to a number story, and a strategy for reading a number story. My strategy for reading a number story is to read the story first, then stop at the end of each sentence and think, is there anything important in this sentence to help me solve the problem? Then we used 2 of these graphic organizers, part total and start change end, to help organize our thinking. I hope you have a wonderful time this week, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.